Yeah,
Well,
so
I just thought,
it's the joy, it's the joy that springs from clearing out the psyche of any resistance to the universe.
right. Or as Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find within yourself all the barriers you've built against it.
Yeah,
We're removing the blocks to the presence of the essence of who we are,
that's it. That's it. And
right?
any form of unhappiness or fear or frustration or feelings of inadequacy, any kind of sort of negative emotional reverberation, that's the interference. And when we have I have the method to clear that out, then you just know that when, abundance, success, harmonious relationships, fulfilling your true purpose, all of that is natural. That just
Right,
happens naturally. The universe takes care of that as you flow with the universe. The universe
right,
takes care of all of that.
right, right. Well,
The more you want, the more want you manifest.
right, right. Well, you know, my intention with the show is to give people a window into you. In
Hmm.
other words, it's not just about it is about the method and but it will come out of our quote intimate conversation um, uh, about life, what you're up to, and as I'm crafting this and thinking, so what is my criteria for a guest? What and I'm thinking somebody who's up to something in their life. And that, so
My
I
mother used to say, "I'm up to no good," but
yeah, 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 but you know what I'm saying? Someone who's alive with, I mean, in other words, it's not because it's not about resume for me. It's not about famous. It's not about any of that. It's it's connection. You and I are both Cancer rising, and Cancer, when one has learned how to mother oneself and create one's own inner safety, right? I mean, is is about connection. That's what Cancer is. It's about rapport. It's about, you could talk to anybody and have them respond. And it's interesting. I think you'll appreciate this as a man with.
when I talk to people, I say, maybe that's because I'm Cancer rising. I say, live your life in a way that's nurturing, not draining.
Exactly. I totally. So I have an 18-year-old granddaughter and a 4-year-old grandson. So my grandson Alex is an Aquarius with a Gemini moon. So he's double air. He's Cancer rising. So knowing that as his grandmother, I know because Cancer energy does not want to be bombarded with somebody. It's kind of like, let me feel into the space. So when I see him, I always kind of back, and that's to honor that, as opposed to, oh, go say hello to your grandmother, go. Um, but I think men who choose to come in with any Cancer energy are very courageous, and your work is all about emotions, right? I mean, the method is all about emotions, right? Which is very Cancer.
That's a big part of it. I would say it's all about inner peace.
Okay. But the inner peace coming through working through the emotional.
Releasing the emotional resistance to the universe
Yeah. Yeah.
because it turns out to be unfounded. It's not about striving. It's about arriving.
Right. So growing up because
Mhm.
you've got all three water signs in your chart. Your Cancer rising, your Mars in Scorpio,
Yep,
and Pisces Venus.
that's
So
right.
that's all three of the water signs,
Yeah,
the
no
person.
earth, no earth, but water.
And so what is Zoe's birthday?
She's August 30th, and I think she will be 52 or 53. I'm not sure. I think 52. She'll be
Okay, I'll figure
52,
that
I
out.
think. I think she was born in 1974.
Okay. So get this. You have
In,
no
in,
earth in your chart and she's an earth sign.
yeah, she's a Virgo. Yep.
Right. So the point is
She's a
the
moon.
soul is
She's a moon
seeking.
Aquarius.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's an interesting. And what's her ascendant? Do you know?
I think it's Sag, but I don't recall offhand.
Okay. But the point is the soul is always going for complete, for balance. So someone who lacks earth will attract earth people into their life.
Mhm. Yeah, I've had a number of Virgo sons as primary relationships in my.
Interesting. Does she have significant fire in her chart? Because you've got so much
Yes,
fire.
she has Sag.
Oh, she said she has,
Uh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
and I
but
think she has
so here you come in with significant water energy in your chart. Both Venus and Mars are in water signs. Your window to the world is water. And
Mhm.
I guess my question would be not necessarily for the show, but just in terms of you and I, um, because we've known each other over in different times and we've connected, and then, but
Different
I always
lifetimes.
feel, you're someone like when I see your name, I always hook right back into, the connection that we have. And
Well, you have the ocean behind you. I was born and raised at the ocean.
I know that's why I put that there. Yeah, Coney Island, Seagate. Seagate, is that what it was? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went and read everything on your website, and I did this for you deliberately because we've got a lot of fire in Moon's in Leo now. Leo's rising as you and I are talking, but I this was for your Venus in Pisces and my son Neptune. I got Neptune right next to the sun, so I wanted the. I had a fire thing with what did I have back there?
Yeah, look, I'm in Zoe's office, so look what she has hanging on her wall, this earthy
Oh,
stuff, right?
oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So this is her office.
Well, and okay, so that expression opposites attract, right? Well, people think only of opposite sun signs, like your opposite sign, of course, is your moon, is Libra, but you have Venus in Pisces. The opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo.
That's right.
So your Venus is, so there's another connection, the opposite,
I've had a couple of relationships with women who were, one woman was Virgo with her moon in Pisces, the other was Pisces with her moon in Virgo.
oh, how interesting. So what would you say for you? Because you've been, well, I'll speak for myself, but I was going to say this about you, but you were a time where you were a relationship junkie in your life, right?
Oh yes.
I
Oh,
mean, I say that with great
you
love.
call it a relationship junkie. It's called codependent, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So what's
Absolutely.
different? So what shifted in you for you to have attracted Zoe, who's obviously sounds like the healthiest relationship you've ever
Oh
had?
God, yeah. It's not just attracted her, it's been prepared to bring unconditional kindness
Mhm.
into a relationship. And what got me there was going through an excruciating divorce. And
I think I met you right after that.
no, no, we met. Yeah, I've had a few excruciating,
And it was,
but the most recent one, which was like you and I, the last time we were kind of connecting over that magazine that was going on. Uh,
oh,
what was it? Joy? What was her name? Who was doing the magazine?
you're
The
talking about hope?
Hope. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
the conscious, I've got the
just jerk or
conscious,
something. Yeah.
yeah, conscious, whatever it
But
was.
anyway, so that was kind of I was recovering at that point from just an excruciating divorce. I had never been out of a relationship for more than 3 months, like for my whole life. And I just decided that, I'm going to handle it alone now because I recognized that my dependency was, and this is a principle I discovered, was bringing me into abusive relationships. A codependent attracts a narcissist. It's just
Hmm.
it's just the way it works. And because you're not, whenever you're where you don't belong, the universe starts to beat you up. That's where you get beat up, kicking you out of that area. And so I recognized that my dependency, which I was hiding from people, even from the woman I would get in a relationship with, I would make believe like it's all love, but it's also deep down inside a feeling of dependency if I can't make it on my own.
Hmm.
And
Which is so interesting because you came in with three planets in Aries,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but
Which
I
is
was
all about.
yeah, 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 but I was the son of a father who had a lot of deep insecurities, and those were, embedded into me in childhood without me, having much choice in the matter, other
Mm-hmm.
than the choice to come into that family. But then I realized that I have to, for my own path, I have to be able to stand alone.
Yeah.
So I decided to do that. And so I went 3 years, where it was just me working on nurturing me and finding my way and becoming free and losing my dependency. And once I lost my dependency, I was able to connect with Zoe. Zoe and I knew each other for 20 years before we got together. We were
Oh,
both
really?
in marriages. Uh,
Ah,
and her marriage ended and my marriage ended. And then I had to go through my own transformation. And then we're ready to get together. And, I can honor her, respect her, treat her with absolute kindness. I get the same back. There's never any kind of contentiousness. There's never any kind of anger, jabs, adversarialness, none of that. It's just a beautiful, loving, harmonious relationship, harmonious on every level. Uh,
mm-hmm.
there are times, even now, generally, I wonder, did I pass away and am I in heaven? That's how all of my dreams have come true. And they came true when I didn't need them to anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the way it works. You get what you want when you don't want it anymore.
Well, when you said that about I knew it was time to go on my own. So it sounds like, because again, you're born at a full moon, right? And full moon people can easily go from one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you were doing more Libra,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, than necessarily Aries, because pure Aries energy, as you know, is lead follower, get out of my way. It's that impulse of I gotta act on whatever it is. But what's so interesting, you're because I, I I believe that the soul and the divine make an agreement, and we come in with the resources, the talents, the whatever, and we make the choices. I mean, there is free will for sure. So again, you chose to come in with all three water energies, which automatically would suggest the life of this person is going to be, even though you have significant fire, but having all the water energies, it's like it's going to be emotion based. I mean, there's going to be a lot of emotional stuff in the lifetime. Well, the fact that your Mars, let me just make sure before I say this. I looked at it earlier, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
Scorpio.
Yeah, is in Scorpio and retrograde. You were born with the planet of passion and desire in retrograde, which just simply means it's more internal, reflective, that one's desires and of course it's your ruling planet as an Aries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would suggest this tremendous ability for introspection around all things scorpionic.
And
So
transformation,
yeah, well,
self-transformation.
the transformation, the regeneration, the healing, but also betrayal and control. And I mean, if you hadn't danced in that, right, to accepting and loving of the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? There is no ugly,
I
but
had I learned to recognize um and heal that betrayal um was always an illusion. It was imaginary. It was always based on my expectations. I betrayed myself with false expectations.
well, you now say that a different way. Okay, you say I betrayed myself with false expectations. You mean you saw what wasn't there, or you saw the ideal, or what?
Yeah, I mean, well, Neptune and
Because I
Libra.
know you
So
got Venus in Pisces. Well, Venus in Pisces is going to see the possibility. It's going to fall in love with potential. All of that kind of.
yeah, Neptune and Libra as well. And so yeah, so I would, if something happened where my wife was demonstrating interest in another man, I would feel betrayed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
And then I recognized, you know, that's th number one, betrayal is a state of consciousness. However, I discovered experientially um, that however I react to any situation is what I'm doing to myself.
Yes,
The situation isn't doing it to me. The
totally.
situation just is what it is. And my reaction going into so where did I learn betrayal? Went back to my dad,
Mm,
Saturn and Libra, issues with my father. And so it went back, he voice betrayal, for breakfast.
mm. Well, and being Cancer is so interesting. You're Cancer rising, but you have the planet Uranus, the planet of change, rebellion, I gotta be me, don't fence me in the Aquarius planet right there on your doorway. So I wonder how that manifested, because that would be all, I mean, a strong Uranian energy is very it's about community. It's all, even though it's in Cancer, it's still a Uranian, so it's almost like rebelling against emotions, or not but or detaching from them, being
Hmm.
able to sort of detach, like, or witness, being able to witness yourself having an emotion somehow. Maybe
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons the method has been so appealing in some way, because that it seems to me that's part of the
worked.
methodology, no?
Worked. It just worked. It was like nothing else was able to get me out of my emotional pain.
So was the method an Arnold Patent term, or did
Yeah,
you call it
no,
the
I,
method?
I called it the method. He called it the family story.
Okay.
And his was a little bit more sort of psychologically based. I kind of tweaked it a little bit to work with me and my understanding of life.
Uh-huh.
Mm. But yeah, he taught it to me, guided me through it. Um, and that changed everything. That my whole life was just blown up in the most wonderful, beautiful way. Uh,
Okay.
because I was able to find peace under any circumstances. I realized at one point that because I would have a lot of panic attacks. I'd be very, very anxious, even underneath all the wisdom that I had, and I was able to manifest, but things kept blowing up,
Mm,
and I would fall apart when they blew up. What I realized was what I was afraid of was not what was going to happen to me, not what could happen to me, but how I would feel if it happened. And
mm,
once I started discovering that the method always worked, it always freed me from emotional suffering and left me in a state of blissful, peaceful faith in the universe, I realized I could find faith in anything, find peace in any situation.
mm-hmm.
There was a time when one of my children was, one of the doctors said he basically has 2 weeks to live. And I was like, okay, I did the method. I was at peace. Everything was cool. And he had a miraculous healing. I've seen the method actually do tremendous physical healing on myself and other people because what you do is you resolve any of the emotional tension you have around the physical problem, and that allows the physical problem to improve, if not completely heal.
Uh-huh.
So the method was the key because I had a lot of wisdom. I studied with a wisdom teacher.
Oh no, I know. I
The
remember.
energy
Yeah,
level, I
yeah,
knew how to manifest. I understand how energy works and working with the patterns of the universe. But my emotions would just get too big, too powerful, too
yeah.
powerful, and I'd be dysfunctional for like a long
Well,
period.
and I mean, and think about it. Being Cancer rising means the doorway to all the other energy coming out into the world is through Cancer, is through the energy of Cancer, which means through the energy of, somehow, because the promise would be emotional sovereignty, which is where you are now, it sounds like.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. I used to
sovereign.
believe that I couldn't do my work, I couldn't fulfill my purpose, I couldn't be successful unless I had a mate at home.
Yes,
That was I believed it. I believed I knew that about myself. And so I was always desperate to get the mate at home, and then I can fulfill my purpose.
yes,
Until I finally freed myself from the emotional attachment to having to have a mate at home.
yeah. Well, having Saturn next to the moon, whatever sign it's in, really talks about strong programming from one's heritage. Saturn, it's sort of like whatever, the beliefs about relationship or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but again, the fact that your soul made the choice to come in with Mars in Scorpio, which is intense and psychological and transformative and all those things, but retrograde would suggest that that part of what you've studied or are the mysteries of all of this. That Scorpio, like, okay, like, I mean, you've had to dig deep within yourself
Oh
in
yeah.
in your life. I mean, we've had many sort of psychological conversations.
That's my passion,
Yeah,
is digging deep into the self, into
right.
my own self.
Well, interesting you would say that. It's your yeah, yeah, it's your passion, right? Mars, Scorpio. And where is it in your chart? It's in the Leo house. It's in the house of creative self-expression.
So I'm a
Which,
writer and a speaker yeah, yeah.
yeah, which, I mean, and let me make sure this is correct because yeah, okay. So we never talked about this. I don't know what you know about the North and South Node. Do you know anything about, that's evolution? Okay,
Yeah,
so
I was
South
told
Node
the North
is,
Node is luck, is where your luck is.
well, the South Node is what one comes in with from other lifetimes. Like it's a talent or skill that's pretty well honed. And it's
My
not the
North, my
point,
North Node is in Aquarius.
right? Your
I
South Node
Zoe
is
has
Leo.
Zoe has a moon in Aquarius, and both of my children are Sun Aquarius.
Oh, see, that's beautiful. Yeah, that connection with other people when you have the North Node in a sign and then they have significant stuff. So your South Node is Leo, which means you've had lifetimes of performance. You've
Hmm.
had lifetimes of being on. In fact, I went to AI and just asked the question. I said, so my next guest on Joy Rules has the South Node in Leo. His Mars is in the Leo house. Hold on a second. I'm going to read this to you. It's not long, but I think you will. Maybe I'm going to read it to you. Hold on one sec. Okay. Uh, oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. So I said, my next guest, Bob Lancer, has a South Node in Leo and his Mars in the fifth house. Your thoughts? Blah, 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 blah. I love where you're going with this. I'll stay in the energetic symbolic lane rather than making any factual claims about Bob, other what you've said astrologically. South Node in Leo and Mars in the fifth house. What AI says, what that says to me, especially for Joy Rules, this is you, a deep familiar relationship with visibility and creative fire. A Leo South Node suggests someone who has been here before, being seen, performing, leading with heart, expressing personal creativity. This isn't new territory for him. It's muscle memory. There's often a natural ease with storytelling, presence, charisma, taking up space. For your show, that reads as a guest who won't need permission to shine, but may be learning why and for whom he shines now. I'll send you the rest of this, but I just thought it was really, I mean,
Hmm.
it makes sense because the South Node is going to go into Leo this year. So you're going to have an opportunity to really kind of be with all of that. Like,
Hmm.
because I mean, I've always
Makes sense. That
experienced
makes a lot of sense.
that performing, not performative
Sure, sure, sure.
in a phony way, but
Yeah.
just that aliveness in you. And it's one of the things that's always attracted me to your energy.
Hmm.
Um, so so I just thought that was so interesting because I found myself wondering because I know the method, right? So, and you've pretty much said your whole life lights you up. I mean, in a
I'm
sense,
just lit. I'm just at peace because as soon as I notice any degree of disruption, I know, and the practice, the fundamental practice is to be aware of three things. What I basically practice all the time is to be aware of three things: what I'm feeling, what my mind is up to, and my surroundings.
okay, so say more
So
about
I'm
that.
in this
Okay,
practice, and
so
so
what you're
I
feeling,
practice my feelings, what my mind is up to, and my surroundings.
okay,
So the most important one, in a sense, is the feelings, because in any situation I'm facing, any moment, even now, what is guiding me right now? What is guiding me in how I'm responding and how I'm dealing with this? I'm making sure that I'm in a centered, harmonious, natural feeling state.
mm,
I'm staying, that's my lane,
mm-hmm,
stay in that lane. And from that, no matter what situation I'm in, if I start feeling like I'm forcing or any unnaturalness or any emotional disruption, I let it go. You do the method a lot. You can let go of a lot. You don't need the method as much as you needed it. But there are still challenges that come in where I get hooked into an emotional state in order to do the method to release it. It's not bypassing.
right,
It's releasing your energy from that program that's causing you to resist what's going on in the universe.
mm-hmm,
And I've so the fundamental practice is inner peace,
which is so perfect.
conscious inner peace.
Well, and it's interesting because yeah, you have Neptune and Libra and the moon, and of course Saturn. Saturn is our Dharma. So whatever sign Saturn is in, that's part of our Saturn and Jupiter, that's part of our contract. You know, your Jupiter's Aries,
Mhm.
which is the self, which is, you know, the so um
And a lot of the work I do, as you may recall, I mean, for years, the focus of my work was on conscious parenting,
right, right.
Cancer rising, Mars in retrograde.
And yeah, Cancer rising and that's the strong Saturn. Like Saturn next to your Libra moon is like being a Capricorn moon.
Mm.
Sometimes the planet is stronger than the sign.
Well,
Like it's
that's
in
nice.
Libra, but it's Saturn.
It
So
gives
that
you
would give you a
practicality. It gave me practicality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, so my point is, you come by that honestly, the whole parent thing that you
Yeah.
when you were doing that from an astrological standpoint, because Cancer's the mother and that strong Saturn is father energy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Because I started to understand how my personality was shaped by the way I was related to as a child. And as I
mm,
understood that, I was able to translate that into helping other parents in their interaction with their children to allow that child to shine.
are you still doing your parent?
Once in a while, a client will ask me parenting questions,
Okay.
but I don't focus on that anymore.
So the focus is because you,
Focus is true liberation, living a life of bliss and joy, where just joyful abundance, just allowing abundance to just completely manifest in your life. You don't have to be hungry for clients, or hoping I get a client or hoping, I get publicity or anything like that. It's all gone.
yeah.
That's
No,
all
I hear
gone.
you.
Now it's all here. Like
Yeah.
everything I was striving for, it's coming to me. It's just happening naturally. It's like flowers blooming in the garden. You
Yeah.
don't have to pull out a rose, it just comes out. Or the tree doesn't like fight to, an apple tree doesn't try to force out apples, right? And so we're all naturally abundant if you allow it. But most people, anybody who's dealing with any kind of financial challenges, they're working so hard to push abundance away.
Right. Right.
I work really hard to push abundance away, to push harmonious intimacy away, to push away living in a harmonious, beautiful location, to push away a beautiful, fulfilling a life purpose that is beyond ecstatic in your appreciation of it. All of that is what the universe loves us. It's our parent, it's our mother, father, parent. And all of it happens when you just give up your resistance to the universe. Easily said, right?
Yeah.
To face all of your fears, the deepest fears.
Well,
So
see, there's your Mars in Scorpio, what you just said.
yeah, yeah, because I had to
Yeah.
face my deepest, deepest fears and stay in that situation.
Hmm.
Release my resistance and fear of that situation, not try to change the situation by getting another relationship.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then it's just so beautiful. I mean, every day is heavenly. I feel like sometimes I really wondered, did I pass away? And is this heaven?
Huh.
And the people in my life, they're all conscious. You're
Yeah.
conscious. Why are
Yeah.
we talking to each other? We're
Yeah.
connected
Yeah.
to some frequency. Everybody I connect with,
Totally.
conscious level. I don't deal with unconscious people when they don't show up.
Yeah. 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 I mean, what's so interesting is, the on this we have the spring equinox. The year now you have a birthday on the 9th, right? Your year really doesn't begin ever till the new moon in Aries, which this year is the 17th of April. I'm launching a YouTube channel on the 18th when the moon's in Taurus. It'll still be but
Mhm.
um um but the two planets that came together in Aries, Saturn and Neptune. You're of that. In the late 80s, they came together in Capricorn. The wall came down in Berlin, and then the time before that was you guys born in 52 and 53. I mean, they're about 8 degrees apart in your chart, but still Saturn and Neptune. But now Saturn and Neptune, making the dream real, are in Aries, now Neptune will be there for like, I don't know, 14 years or something, Saturn for 2.5. But the point is, we've never seen Neptune in Aries. We've seen Saturn in Aries because it's every 30 years, but we've never seen that's a 165-year cycle. My point is, in terms of you, because you've got um, yeah, you have Mercury in Aries at 12, the Sun in Aries at 19, and Jupiter. And I always, it's so interesting. You're such an interesting, I mean, I wouldn't say I guess I find most people interesting to some degree, but I find certain people like really interesting. And for you, it's like here, on the one hand, Jupiter's not too far from the sun. So that makes you like a Sag Aries, which is the eternal optimist. It's all going to be okay. There's a pony in here somewhere. But yet you have Saturn next to the moon, which is going to go into all the fear. And what if it does? I mean, it's interesting. You've had to kind of jockey because I see that philosopher in you. I see the teacher in you, all that Jupiter next to the sun in Aries. But
Mhm.
Saturn next to the moon, I mean, it would say that this person, you, has chose to come in to yeah, to really take relationships seriously, but relationship to self first, of course,
Yeah,
you
but
know?
both. Yeah, but both really, learning how to be in a relationship, in a with kindness. There was when I was at the there was this point right when we were getting divorced this, years ago. Um, this like probably what's four, so like 13 years ago. Um, and I was in the pit of hell. I mean, I really felt like I was in hell. It felt like everyone around me was just tormenting me. I couldn't, it just felt like I was just in the pit of evil.
Mm,
And I went out on the deck and I talked to God and I said, I know I put myself here. I put
mm,
myself here with my anger. I
mm,
know I put myself here with my fear. Um, I want to be among your angels.
mm,
I want to be back. I want to be among the angels. And a voice came, and because I said, what do I need to do to be among your angels? I want to be among
mm.
angels. And it said
Beautiful.
one word, it said kindness. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
And here I am.
Well, and it's so interesting too, because having Mars in Scorpio
And
retrograde.
just to mention, I am with the kindest person. I've never known anyone like Zoe. She's so angelic. She's down to earth, but she's so angelic, so kind. It's beyond
Well,
measure.
what you see in her is in you, obviously. I mean, even though you might not, I mean,
We honor it in each other.
yeah,
We honor each other's heart
yeah,
at all times.
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's a number one criteria. That's a good, yeah, honor each other's heart. That's beautiful. Um,
It's
you
never
know,
like, what'd you do with the remote control? There's no annoyance. No
but
petty.
again, this is where I get so tickled because what you heard was be kind, right? That's
Yeah,
what you
kindness.
kindness. Kindness is a Pisces construct. You
Mm,
have Venus in Pisces. What
yeah.
you love kindness. I mean, you're wired to, whatever wherever Venus is what we're wired to what we're wired that will bring us joy,
Well,
compassion,
that was my
kindness.
childhood trauma, was being treated in what felt to me like cruelty.
Well, and again, it's interesting Mars in Scorpio because Scorpio can be cruel, Scorpio
Mhm.
energy. So that existed in you, right? And I
Yes,
mean, it,
yes.
and when you said, because that can tend to be one of the ways it plays out when the planet of passion, which is also anger, is in retrograde, that anger can be very much. And so what you said about that, you were tired of being so angry, that would be, you access that.
I saw where it took me.
Yeah,
So I saw where it took me. And I had been, extremely angry. I was angry at
yeah,
my father. I was angry at myself mostly. Like,
yeah.
so, and I just, I had to play all that out.
I think what I remember about you early on, yeah, it felt like you were, um, I mean, I always loved you, but it felt like you were really beating yourself up. Like
I
you were
was.
so, I mean,
Because
so,
I hadn't awakened to the realization that, like, I had a conversation with a client recently, and she said she was surprised. She woke up one morning, she just hated herself. And I asked her a simple question that shifted the whole thing. It's what shifted it for me. I said, "What is the idea of yourself that you hate?"
yeah.
Boom. Yeah, it's just I was identifying with negative ideas of myself.
Hmm.
I was still identified with the mental level, identifying with ideas, right?
Yeah.
Your idea of yourself. That's just an idea.
Yes.
You don't like yourself, it's because you're looking at an idea of yourself that
Ex-
you don't like. And if you don't want to be that, let it go
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
become who you think about.
Yeah. So, the new wisdom of joy with the
Yes.
method. So how did that get birthed? The new
I
wisdom.
discovered that joy worked. That's it. Unhappiness doesn't work. Grief doesn't work. I've worked with mothers who've lost children. Grief doesn't work. Anger doesn't work. Frustration doesn't work. Anxiety doesn't work. Insecurity doesn't work. Joy works.
Yeah.
The happiness, when you make sure, that you're not. So one of the sayings I have with people is don't leave happiness to find it.
Don't say it again.
Don't leave happiness to find it.
Yeah, really, totally.
That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah,
So I found out that when I would get stressed out, frustrated, negative, insecure, everything went wrong. And when I just lived in my harmonious space, no matter what the challenge, everything worked out.
yeah.
Joy. So for me, it was new. That joy works, the new wisdom of joy. That's why I
Well,
call
it's new for me too. And it's so interesting, to be having these different guests in the nest that have known me for years, some of them, and again, when I was in the health adventure, I didn't see the joy that was in me that other people were seeing. And that was more painful, Bob, than any fear of dying or treatments or any of it. It was like, God, and I wasn't going to kill myself, and I have no judgment about that at
well,
all.
I wrote my letter. I was going to go. I
I
was,
just kept saying, if I can't feel and see in me what other people do and feel the joy of my spirit, I can't live life going through the motions.
life without joy is pointless.
Yeah,
It's pointless. That's why people commit suicide. It's pointless. But the difference is it's not just for me learning that joy works. It's being able to get there
right,
and
right.
being able to stay there. And
Yeah,
if I lose it, being able to return there just by taking action, going
yeah,
through the method, go take, and then being able to share that with other people, right? You can feel my joy. You can feel the vibration. I'm
yeah,
living in this harmonious, beautiful vibration. And so I'm conscious of it and I stay here consciously. So it's
yes,
more important to be at peace and to be happy than to be in control.
yeah. That's a very wise statement for somebody to say who's there's your Libra and there's your Mars in Scorpio. That definitely is mature and elevated Scorpio energy.
And it works. It's practical.
Yeah,
It's Lorelei, it's just absolutely practical. That's the thing that blows my mind. That I wasted so much time on unhappiness.
yeah. Well, the show's only a half an hour, and I'm wondering, because I know that meditation is 20 minutes, is there something we could do?
Yes, I could do it in under 10 minutes.
Okay, let's, I want to build that into the show. In other words, um, yeah, because what
That's the purpose because people don't have to suffer anymore.
yeah,
There is a way out. That's
yeah,
how far we've evolved. I know it
yeah,
looks like there's chaos in the world, but we've evolved. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to be, now you have to go through it for 20 seconds,
yeah,
30
yeah,
seconds, and then you let it go. And if it comes back, you let it go. There have been periods in my life where I've had to do the method over and over again for days. And then all of a sudden, boom, the bliss is back.
yeah.
And then I could just ride it and just stay in it and watch like I can't rush through the day. I'm watching how I'm feeling in every moment, everything I'm doing. That's the guide. Staying happy.
And it sounds so like you're so lovingly conscious of the Cancer energy in you with what you just said. Like, in other words, because and it's interesting because Jupiter takes 12 years to go through the zodiac, and Jupiter since last June until the end of this June of 26 is in Cancer. And you know how we're hearing so much about emotional regulation and nervous system regulation all over the place, right? Jupiter in Cancer, the wisdom in emotion. I mean, the wisdom of every feeling. And there's, yeah, it's, I mean, and again, I'm finding, I guess because my natural spirit is, I have Mars in Leo, my Saturn is Leo. So my Dharma is I've come up with my juice, my jam, and my job is joy. And I mean, if you would have told me that, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago, I would have, if you had said, Laura, I think you're going to be doing something around joy. And I
Oh,
can't
me
tell
too.
you how exciting it is for me because it's not about being the best, being a great astrologer or a great counselor. It's all of that in service to something that's so much,
Just enjoy the moment. If you're not
yeah,
enjoying the moment, you're not doing it right. You're trying to take too much control.
yeah,
Relax and enjoy the now. Stay in touch with your joy and
yeah,
watch your mind because the mind will take you out of joy in a heartbeat. My teacher used to say the unwatched mind is the devil's workshop.
yeah, totally. Well, I'm a very diligent and vigilant Course in Miracles student. And so that's very much about the thoughts and it's
Watch what,
all here. It's all here.
gotta watch what you think. Every time you're thinking, it's called the dream life of involuntary thought.
Yeah.
Every time you're thinking, you're in a dream world.
Yeah,
And when
exactly.
while
The
you're in that
dream, the dream figure.
and while you're in that dream world, you're not here.
Yeah.
You're not connected. You can't bring wisdom into the moment and right choice into the moment because you're absent. You're just on subconscious automatic pilot.
Yes. Yeah.
So freeing, recognizing when you're getting caught up in the mind to stop.
Yes. Well, one of the Course in Miracles lessons is choose again. Choose a different thought because we can't stop ourselves from thinking. That doesn't work.
Yeah, I can stop you from thinking right now.
But I have a thought.
Okay, look at your finger and really look at it. See the lines, see the blemishes, really look at it, full attention. Hey, where'd your thought go? It just went out the window. You
So to
just stopped
check,
thinking. You put your
yeah.
full attention on the present moment. You put your full attention on something, right?
Well,
You don't want to just change your thought. You don't want to live in thought. That's a dream world. You
right,
want to be right here,
right.
feelings in your presence, in what is right now. Like you ever have a conversation?
Without and my the lesson that I've been in is I understand being the now, being the present. I understand it here, but
Right.
it's now here and here because it's be present to the moment without resistance, without attachment, and without judgment.
Yeah,
That
but to
has
actually do
been
that.
that's the key.
Yeah, to actually do that, to actually
Yeah.
recognize, oh, I'm getting attached to, being right or something.
Yeah.
I've-
Or I'm judging this person, this feeling or whatever, what I'm judging that I'm not that my toe hurts, or what, whatever it is.
And then
So,
if you notice what judgment feels like, you realize, oh, that feels kind of yucky. If I'm unconscious, I think the person I'm judging is making me feel yucky,
right,
rather
absolutely.
than my judging is making me feel yucky.
Exactly. It's not what happens, it's the judgment of what's, yeah, totally. So to switch just a little bit, and this is for me personally, but certainly could be for the audience, and we need to do another show, obviously, because um, the soulmate thing, the soulmate process,
Yes,
like
it works. I've living proof it
as
works.
you said, I mean, because I find that I was sort of doing that intuitively, like just thinking about, well, oh yeah, and he would get me, and we'd be in, and but then I shut it down. Like,
Mhm.
it would be like, I don't know, there must have been something from, well, you can't do, I've been married six
Disbelief.
times.
Yeah, yeah, the disbelief that it's possible.
Yeah,
So
and
that's
what I know is
eradicated.
true, what I know is true. I mean, there's been enough judgment and all that, and I think I'm over most of that because what I really get is, and this came to me like a month ago, I went, you know what? You learned everything you were supposed to learn in each of those marriages.
Of
Whatever
course.
you were, no, I know you know this, but I mean, it was like boom. It was like, okay, leave the judgment. It's not about that, and when I do forgiveness stuff. I think of each of my husbands and what I received from them, what I honoring each
Who
of them.
gets to decide how many marriages is the right number?
Right, exact. No,
I do.
totally, totally.
The number of marriages that I've had, that's the right number.
And not everybody gets to make multiple marriage jokes either.
Never wanted to be with one person for my whole life. I wanted to be with different partners. I knew there was a lot of learning that would happen there.
Totally.
So I wasn't
So what would
interested.
you say to me? Like, because now I know that I'm ready for the kind of relationship that I've never felt worthy of, frankly. I mean, because I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going, and it's
Well,
not about
what do you find when you're in a relationship, when you're in an intimate relationship? What do you find most challenging?
in the past, because again, my last
You would
husband, we
deal-
got divorced.
What's the hardest thing for you to deal with in a partner?
The hardest thing for me to deal with has been the not being able to share to the extent that I wanted to the spiritual path.
That's what you have to master to be in one.
Okay, so
It has to be okay. It has to be okay when you can't share.
it has to be okay when oh. So what's the psychology behind that?
You're not forcing the person. You're not putting pressure on the person to fill a need
Right.
in yourself, a false need. They don't want to share? Okay. Everybody thinks they know better than God what's supposed to happen.
Right.
If you're not open to a sharing moment, okay, master that.
No, I guess what I'm saying is what I would like is the mirror. In other words, someone who's alive in their life, excited about the path,
Yeah, but
excited
you
about
gotta have, yeah, but there are two sides to every coin.
okay.
Universe is universal polarity. They're going to be alive today and they're going to be dead tomorrow. And you got to learn how to deal and learn, love, and expect and thrive in both cycles.
Okay.
To be with someone beautiful, you have to accept their ugliness.
Totally. Oh, absolutely.
So to be with someone who's lively, you got to be accept their unliveliness at times.
Right.
And you got to be totally okay with that and recognize all the shit that it brings up inside of you.
But there's an excitement in that. You have that excitement
Oh,
about that.
I don't want any excitement.
No, I don't mean that. I mean
I'm done with excitement.
you had your quote.
I don't need any more excitement. You can have all of my excitement. I don't want any more, no more excitement, please. I like peace.
They're not mutually exclusive, by the way.
They have been for me.
Okay, well,
As soon as I get excited, I know I'm heading for a fall every time. Every time.
well, let me just put it out there because I've decided that, and I'm totally like it. I really am at peace about this. I don't feel desperate. I don't feel clean. I don't feel any of that. I because I love. I have beautiful, rich relationships with everybody in my life, but I want
Yeah, that deep
that
intimate
form.
companionship.
And I think I said, didn't I say this to you? I want me with a penis. Well, I mean the mirror, because when I
Well, what
think
if he
about
loses his penis? You don't want him anymore?
no. Well, no, when I think about like that excitement for and I think
Forget
Jewish
about excitement.
Italian from New York.
Forget about excitement. Forget about excitement already. Let it
Forget
alone.
about it. Forget.
Forget about excitement. You don't need to be at peace. Be happy and content in the now. You don't need, and then everything that your heart desires just naturally flourishes. Everything that takes you to your higher level, it naturally flourishes. Don't look for excitement. You don't need excitement.
Well,
You need to be able to face a
no,
moment
I
that's
think
not exciting.
we have a different definition
Okay,
of
yeah,
excitement. I
right.
think I mean more alive than I do necessarily excited. It's just more that I don't know, youthful, you know? I mean, I'm going to be
No,
79 in October
it's
and
Lorelai, it's equanimity. Equanimity.
that's a great Libra word, by the way. Define that. That's a word.
Equanimity, just inner balance. You got to be able to feel when you're getting too enthused.
Okay, I get that. Yes, I've got Scorpio energy. I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
know your moon is exactly on my sun? 10 degrees. That's exactly the degree of the sun, which is, a sun-moon relationship is lovely, whatever the form of it is, whether
Yeah.
it's lovers or friends or
Always had a great relationship, and it's always been in the light.
yes.
Yeah. So obviously, we probably knew each other in a past life,
Oh,
or
I'm sure.
picking up where we
Well,
were.
and I have to say, there's when I feel into like being with this person, it keeps coming up. New York, Jewish, like I said, like that New York vibe or something that and what I love about you. I mean, I love that about people from that area. It's just so I don't know, it's like I get them. They get me, it's and to be gotten is so beautiful when somebody really gets us because when somebody gets us, it's really they're honoring the good, the bad, and the ugly to get us. It's not just about honoring the stuff that we like, it's honoring the crap as well when it comes up. So
It's
I'm
taking
saying to people,
responsibility for it's taking responsibility for your response.
right,
That's what it really comes down to.
yeah,
Realizing that I have to be in what the Buddhists call right state
yes,
for things to flourish around me.
yes,
And if my partner is in a mood, right? How am I dealing with that?
yes,
If my partner is not around, how do I deal with that? Right? Am I losing my right state? And if I'm losing my right state, that's why she's gone.
right,
To
right,
give that opportunity. The universe gives you the opportunity to see where you have those weak points, where you have those trigger points, where you're resistant to the universe, so you can let it go.
You know what it sounds like to me that you've done? That you've done? You've made the inner marriage.
Yes. In Kabbalah, it says before you can marry another, you have to marry yourself.
Yeah.
My decision to do.
And that's a very help for anybody with Libra energy because I think what I see in you that I see in me as I say that I was saying it to you, but that's exactly what I've done actually. Because it's not like it's not a need. It's not I have, like it's more, I wonder what's going to show up because I am living more. One of the things when
For
I
me,
asked,
I just had the sense that my next step in growth was to be practicing in an intimate relationship. And that's when it happened.
yeah,
When I realized it was my next step in evolution
yeah,
to take on the challenges, not the pleasures,
yeah, yeah,
the challenges of an intimate relationship.
yeah,
Could I be
absolutely.
kind? Could I be kind to myself, however she is?
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to get to run. I have to take
Yeah, so let
Aaron
me
to
just say
test.
this last thing. So what
Sure.
I'm saying to people who love me and get me, if you know someone that you think would love to play with me, I mean, as a spiritual playmate or whatever I'm calling it, just let that percolate because I can't do the app thing. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't bring me joy. Doing that just does not. Not, I have nothing against it. I think it's a great way to meet people, but I'm not in a joyful process when I go check an app. It doesn't. So I decided just to make it more organic.
Mhm.
So I'm just planting that seed. So what I need from you is a bio
Mm,
and a headshot.
okay.
If you can just think about that and send it to me in the next couple days, 2 or 3 days, whatever works for you. Because we're gonna do our show next Friday, right?
Yeah.
And then it'll air the following Friday. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Just make a note to myself here.
do you want me to send you this
Just
recording with the transcript, or do you not?
no, no. If you could just email me the send bio and
Yeah,
headshot.
I will. Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
email me
Yeah,
that.
because
Then I'll have it.
yeah, because what I do is now tomorrow I'm going to watch this again and I'm going to come up with some episode ideas for description and then I'll send it to you, see what you think, and we'll go from there. Fun, huh? I'm really happy for you. And
Oh, I'm telling you, just connect to me. I'm telling you, the happiness works. Just feel the vibe. Rel-
yeah.
Relax.
And
Relax.
just so when you say like feel into the relationship, like talking to that person, like
Here, close your eyes and just start to open your heart and your mind to receive the experience of the perfect relationship for you, the perfect communication, balanced, supportive of both of your growth and evolution, kind, sexual, romantic, fun. Just open your consciousness. Whatever you're willing to receive within, you will receive without.
hmm,
Receive it. Go into it. Feel its presence. Right? I would suggest not asking people to find somebody for you or to recommend somebody for you. Just go within. See, just
okay,
experience the fulfillment of it. Drop any wanting. Notice how you feel when you ask that question. It's like a little bit
okay,
of like, just you don't have to worry about it, right? It's like money, right? For anyone to manifest abundance, you have to be free of all want about money, all concern about money. To be truly wealthy is to have no concern about money.
hmm
Well, it's the same thing to be in a soulmate relationship. If you were in a soulmate relationship, would you be asking people to find you someone? Would you be asking people to tell you somebody? If you're already in a soulmate relationship right now, would you be asking your friends to say, if you know
no,
anybody? Of course not. So you have to behave consistently to resonate with those who have it.
mm,
Right?
yeah,
As you live your own life in a way that nurtures you, you'll automatically manifest someone who nurtures you. And the more deeply you nurture your soul and how you live, that's how deeply your soulmate's going to nurture you. You're already in relationship. He's already looking for you. You're already connected. Just allow it to manifest within, and then it starts to manifest without in perfect timing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
It works.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I love you.
I love you too. I love
I'll
you
send
too.
you an email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Have a
Okay,
great weekend. Love to Zoe.
bye bye.
Bye bye.